Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show, present the Predict the Outcome special for TNA Slammiversary. Slammiversary, one of the summer's premier events in TNA. As you see right here, this is headlined by the main event. Mike Santana defends the TNA World Championship against no one contender Nic Nemeth, better known as Dolph Ziggler. And Santana keep his eye on the ball, or he got something else that many people don't know that Santana is going to be bringing. We'll talk about it here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We get the Pro Wrestling Show started right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Peter Dix. Join that conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling. You don't connect. Don't forget. Let me get you subscribe. Tell friends. Oh, friends. Hit the subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. All right. We don't waste no time. Let's kick things off here on the TNA Slammiversary Predict the Outcome special. Very special we have for you. Let's not waste no time. Let's keep things started right here. Right now, here on the Slammiversary special. I'm going to talk about this right here. One of the matches that's going to be a part of Slammiversary will be this match right here. The Tag Team Championship match in a ladder match. Let's show you the ladder match right quick. The ladder match for the Tag Team Championships right here. We see the Hardy Boys will take on the Righteousness in the system Tag Team Championship match. We're supposed to show you the card and stuff. It's kind of acting up and stuff. Hey. Sorry, folks. All right, let's get back. The Tag Team Championship match, a triple threat ladder match for the TNA World title. The system defend the tag team titles against former champions, the Hardys and the Righteousness. A lot of people are trying to see the Hardy Boys are the experienced ones in this ladder match. They know a thing or two about ladder matches. They have been in TLC ladder matches against Edge, Christian, the Douglas. So the Hardy Boys may have the upper edge, but the Righteousness has been playing a lot of mind games against the Hardy Boys. So the Hardy Boys really should be the favorites to win, but I don't see the Hardy Boys winning the match and stuff like that, unless they TNA lifers for that. But they have been. But the Hardy Boys have been a staple, a legendary tag team. I've been a big fan of Matt and Jeff for so many years. Will win that team and become world champs. Right here. See how this can go. You can see it in that way. The Righteousness holding on, become the new World Tag Team Champions over the Hardy Boys. So look for the Righteousness win the Tag Team Championships, or perhaps you never know. Could the Hardy Boys do an upset? I'm going with the Righteousness, but the Hardy Boys have been known to do a lot when it comes to tag team wrestling. So for the Righteousness to not lose, but the Righteousness, the Hardy Boys to lose. They are the influencers of ladder matches. I can tell you that right now. So look for that. All right, we go to this right here. Ultimate X has returned. Ultimate X was a staple of Slammiversary. Ultimate X back onto the scene again. These men will put their bodies on the line tonight at Slammiversary, including a returning Amazing Red, who was a key factor in Ultimate X back in the early days of TNA. I used to watch TNA way back in the early days, way from its inception. With Fabian Abner, Mr. Elegance, Leon Slater, former X Division champion, Casey Navarro, and Frankie Kazarian, and champion Cedric Alexander, they will all be a part of Ultimate X. These 7 men will put their bodies on the line for the grab the championship on top of the X. It's similar like a ladder match, but with high stakes comes high reward. And who in that group gonna be the one? I think Cedric is going to keep his championship intact. So look for Cedric to retain his championship. Cedric Alexander getting more crazier, more vicious, more sick, more vicious than ever before. So look for Cedric. Cedric has an opportunity, and I can think Cedric Alexander did this past week on Impact, pinning Leon Slater to get the 1-2-3. Like we said, it's going to be free for all to see who's going to be the Ultimate X champion. We'll see that match as well. But look for Cedric Alexander, my pick, to win Ultimate X and keep his championship intact. No, Leon Slater might can get the job done, but we'll see. Another match that everyone has been buzzing about. We love open challenges. WWE does a lot of open challenges. So TNA is going to start deciding they're going to do their own open challenge. And the open challenge will be none other than the international champion, Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali doing an international championship challenge. Who's going to step up and meet Mustafa one-on-one? I'm thinking we've been hearing rumblings and stuff like that about some new star coming to TNA, and he could decide to show up in this open challenge. Perhaps it could be this man right here. You know, I'm talking about open challenges. Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews can come back. Apollo Crews could accept Mustafa's open challenge. Apollo Crews could do so as well. So you could see that as well. Apollo Crews accepting the international championship. This is what Daria Ray was telling Mustafa Ali about that. And Mustafa Ali didn't take heed to what Daria Ray was saying. So you could see that as well. The open challenge. Well, I'm thinking it's going to be Cedric Alexander. It's going to accept this open challenge. Daria Ray, Anger 2 as well. So you could see that being that way. Daria Ray in the open challenge. You could see that being open challenge. So you could see that being that way. But we'll see what's going to happen tonight. That's what I'm assuming, that Mustafa is going to have some real competition. Um, he's been on a roll as lately, stuff like that. So we'll see what Mustafa's playing, but I'm thinking it's going to be Apollo Crews against Mustafa. Bring it. So looking forward to seeing that as well. So Mustafa Ali doing his open challenge for this international championship, anxiously awaiting to see who's going to step up, meet Mustafa a little bit later on tonight. Also, too, here on the Slammiversary predicted outcome special, we get to this another grudge match. That a whole bunch of grudge matches tonight. And speaking of grudge matches, this is the match that I want to see. It's been going on for investment. TNA first came on AMC. We thought Moose and Eddie Edwards were on United Front, but Eddie Edwards turned on Moose. Alicia Edwards didn't know what was going on. Moose decided to go along with Alicia to take on Eddie, but Moose should have known better. Moose should have known better. When someone's married, you know they think in the same accord. You know that regardless if they got differences or what opinions, at the end of the day, they're going to be always husband and wife. They're going to put their differences aside from your differences. I think Moose should have known that. Moose got attacked by that, and Moose looks to get revenge over Alyssa and Eddie Edwards. Moose wanted to spear Alyssa so bad. Do what Alyssa Edwards did. So this is Moose's opportunity to do so. Eddie Edwards proved last week that he really had an opening and stuff. What he had going on and stuff like that. But you saw right there. But, did that to social or something like that. But Eddie Edwards looking to prove. So I'm looking at Moose. Moose wants this. I think you know Eddie Edwards been on the warpath of lately, but I don't see Eddie Edwards win. But Eddie Edwards is from Boston, so Eddie Edwards could do something devastating. Look for Eddie Edwards to win this match over Moose. Eddie Edwards pinning Moose. You get the 1, 2, 3. So that might be the preview of what we'll see tonight. Moose gets pinned by Eddie Edwards. Good for that grudge match. Another grudge match that been taking storm right here. I want to show you this right here. That Eric Young has been trying to do a Grizzly veteran role against Ricky Sosa. Ricky Sosa versus Eric Young. Ricky Sosa looks like he wants to take it to Eric Young one way or another. Ricky Sosa and Eric Young will battle tonight. Ricky Sosa returned to Impact. Want to get his hands on EY. EY looking like what? It's going to be a battle, but Ricky Sosa back, and he wants to get his hands on Eric Young. After Eric Young hit that devastating pile driver, and Eric Young hit that sick and devastating pile driver to do what he did. But like I said, Eric Young, Ricky Sosa looking for revenge, and Ricky Sosa looking like he wants to get his hands on Eric Young. Look for Eric Young to win over Ricky Sosa. We might see appearance from EC3. We haven't seen EC3 in quite a while. Eric Young may get the win over Ricky Sosa tonight. Eric Young proved to be a calculated, dangerous individual. So could see that tonight from Eric Young, EY tonight. All right, we get to this right here. Another match that everyone's been talking about right here. I want to show you this. A tag team match, a knockouts tag team match, as the Elegance brand takes on Allie and Rosemary. Rosemary and Allie. Rosemary and Allie both are former TNA women's champions. Rosemary and Allie looks like they want to get their hands on the Elegance brand one way or another. And that could be the difference tonight. The Elegance brand could use the faith on that. Well, look for the Eric. they, Rosemary and Allie look like they want some true competition. Let me tell you that some screw competition as well. But I'm going with Rosemary and Allie winning the tag team match tonight. Rosemary and Allie perhaps could go for the knockouts championship, however you want to put it. Rosemary kind of continue to play mind games with the Elegance brand by using voodoo dolls as well. So that could only be one of the two things and stuff like that. Well, we get to this right here. The Knockouts Championship is on the line as Yǐng goes one-on-one with Zaya Brookside. I'm gonna show you that right quick. Zaya Brookside versus Yǐng one-on-one. These two women will battle it out tonight. Get their differences aside. They once were best friends, but now they're common enemies. Now these women want to beat the holy you know what out of each other, and tonight they can do so. You know, we'll see. But it's been like this past week, it was a face to face. Now you're seeing the stuff is going. Oh, this is gonna play out for the Knockouts Championship. I'm thinking Zaya Brookside will perhaps be the Knockouts champion. Yǐng is just a belt holder for you know who. Like I said, it really don't make no difference. It really ain't gonna matter. But Knockouts Championship will be online. A lot of grudge matches. So look for Zaya Brookside to win over Yǐng of the Knockouts Championship. Another match, another grudge match. AJ Francis going against Elijah. AJ Francis and Elijah don't like each other. These men have been at each other's throats as lately. When AJ got mildly interrupted by Elijah, and AJ Francis want to take all his anger, all his frustration, all his the chaotic scene out on Elijah. Elijah looks like he's gonna have to put a lot of discipline into it and stuff. So Elijah getting himself ready and getting himself set. Um, I don't know. It's sort of like I'm rooting for AJ Francis in this match, but I think the back of my head, Elijah might pull this off. Elijah might get the win over AJ Francis. So I'm gonna go with Elijah winning, but AJ Francis is gonna be far from over from AJ Francis. I can tell you that right now. AJ's gonna find a way to. He might lose, but he gonna find a way to. You know what? To kick. You know his kick his butt and stuff. Well, we get to this right here. The main event for Slammiversary in Boston, Massachusetts, will be the TNA World Championship match as Mike Santana set to defend his title against Nic Nemeth. Both men have pride, honor, and dignity for themselves. A lot of people thinking that Santana is going to go and leave TNA with the TNA Championship. This past week was a telling right here. Mike Santana, um, may head to WWE and get his flowers and stuff like that. Santana doing what he do and stuff like that. Mike Santana showing his card and stuff after he and Nic Nemeth had a face-to-face sit down for the TNA World Championship, moderated by the TNA president Carlos Silva and the TNA interviewer Gina Miller to moderate this contract signing. Both men talking about pride, respect, family, you name it. Who wants to be the face of TNA? Who's there just for a check? I mean, Dolph Ziggler and Mike Santana. Nic Nemeth. It went to a boiling point after it. Both men couldn't hold their composure and did so. Mike Santana attacked Nemeth's brother, which left Nemeth coming out there to get some payback and get some revenge as well. You saw right here. Not that not that this one right here. He got some revenge and stuff, kicked him and kicked his head off. But it just went far from over between Santana and Nic Nemeth. Now the question is, if Nic Nemeth wins, it's that time for Mike Santana to leave and go to because his contract's coming up next month. Is this the time or place for Santana? Santana was kind of upset, irate, and went off the hinges. took it off on Nemeth and stuff like that. So said Nic Nemeth, Mike Santana, these two men want to beat the what out each other, tar and feather. Santana and Nic Nemeth. I wanna say that Santana is gonna keep his championship. Nic Nemeth might get another round, but like I said, who do they got in store? Because the TNA World Championship is kind of drying up thin and stuff when it comes to that and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff like that. But I'm going with my gut feeling is Mike Santana will retain the TNA Championship over Nic Nemeth. Nic Nemeth will go on to other pastures and stuff like that. So we'll see how it's gonna go. We'll keep a close eye on it. All right. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Presents the Predict the Outcome special for Slammiversary. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix, saying so long. We'll see you for the Slammiversary review.